Okay, today I'm going to show you how to use the pen tool in Adobe Illustrator and to place an image in the background and to be able to trace it, then save it appropriately for further use. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go here, and we want a document that will be 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. We're going to click on the advanced options, choose CMYK color, and we're going to have high resolution, which is really important for print purposes, to be at 300 pixels per inch. And we're going to create. Okay, so now we have our square on the page, and what we want to do is we want to first make sure that we have the right window available to us. So what I would like you all to do is go to Window, Workspace, and Essentials Classic. Okay, and what that does is it gives you two rows of tools in the tool palette. Hi all, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to open a document, place an image into the background and trace around it using the pen tool, and then to save it appropriately for further use. So the first thing that we're going to do is create new, and we want our document to be 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. We want to click on the advanced options and make sure that we have CMYK selected and high resolution of 300 pixels per inch, which is print quality. And we'll click on create. So now we have our square page. The next thing that you should all check on first before we go any further is go to Window, Workspace, and Essentials Classic. So when you select that, it will show you what I already have open here, which is two columns of tools in the tool palette. And it gives you a lot more features up the top as well. So it's always best to work on that. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is File and Place. And we're going to locate our photograph of an animal that we're going to outline today as a geometric shape. So I've placed that onto my page. Next thing I want to do is make sure that it's as large as possible on my page, so it makes it much easier to work with. Now when I'm enlarging and reducing, what I do is I drag out from the corner nodes. I never use the middle ones because what you'll see is it distorts it out of scale and proportion. If you do something that doesn't quite work, then you do Control Z, and that undoes all the steps one by one. Okay, so I'm going to drag from a corner node and at the same time hold down the Shift key. And so that Shift key will allow me to move it in scale and proportion. Now I've gone off my page, so if I do Control 0, that will put me into the full view of the page. If I do Control minus, then I can zoom out. And then I'll continue to hold down the Shift key while I'm moving now. Holding down the Shift key. Okay, so then I'll center it on the page. Now, while it's selected, I'm going to go to Object, Lock, Selection. The reason I've done this is because when I use my pen tool on top of the image, I don't want the image to move underneath. And I don't want to continually be selecting the image rather than the pen tool. So now I'm going to zoom as much as I can while I'm working. And I'm just going to be tracing around the headshot of the koala and nothing else. So in the tool palette, I will select the pen tool. Now with the pen tool, you click and release. And then you click and release. So that's all you do. And I'll show you what happens if you click and drag. So if you click and drag, now this is great if you're tracing around something that's organic, curvy lines, then that's perfect. But what you're going to do is you're going to get arms that are hard to control, and we're after a geometric shape, so that defeats the purpose. So I will do Control Z because I don't want that, and then I will continue to just click and release around the outside of my koala. Now what you can see is happening is that it's trying to fill in the shape that I'm creating. So what I do, I go over to my tool palette and I click on the white square, and down underneath there's a little square, and the red diagonal line that goes through that represents that it's transparent. So I'm going to click on that to make my square, my shape transparent for the fill. And as you can see, the line is black. So I'll keep that as it is. So I can continue now, and it's not going to interfere with what I can see. And then when I arrive back at the start, I'll hover over. You can see a little circle. So that means that it's joining, and that's really important for later. So I click on that, and I've got a closed shape. So now I am going to make the selection with the selection tool and go Object, Lock, Selection. Okay, and then we're on to the next step of outlining then the internal features of the koala. So once again with the pen tool, I just click, release, keep going around. Now I expect you to take a lot more care when you're doing your design. And see the circle, so it means that it's closing up now. So I'll go across to the other side. Okay, and then I'll go to the eyes. And that didn't close. So I'll go Control Z. And I'll go, and I can see that circle now. So move to the other eye. Okay, and then across to the nose. Okay, and if there's shapes that I want to move around because they're not quite right, I just get the direct selection tool and select that area there, and I can just drag that out. Okay, then I go back to the pen tool, and now I'm going around to the mouth. Which looks a bit odd. I think that needs it's a good idea to try and mirror on one side. Okay, so now we have the internal features of the koala. So I'm going to drag the selection tool over the page to pick up everything that's unlocked, or just do Control A and that will also select everything. And then I will go to Object, Lock, Selection. Okay, so that's the end of the first stage of the task.